Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest video from Formula Pulse. The wait is almost over, the anticipation has been building, and we're finally about to head into the second half of the Formula 1 season. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for things to get back underway, and that's why in today's video we're going to be looking at 5 reasons why we should be excited about the second half of the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship. Let us know your predictions for the second half of the season in the comments, but for now let's get straight into today's video. Number 5. Calendar Chaos. The Formula 1 calendar is full of unknowns as we head into the second half of the season. There's races we know definitely will happen, there are races that we can probably guess are going to be cancelled, and there are plenty of rumours being thrown around about races that could step in to fill the gap. We can be pretty sure that the next 4 rounds will go ahead, including Formula 1's return to Zandvoort for the first time since 1985. The race was of course called off in 2020 as the organisers wanted fans to be there, and we recently had confirmation that the race will happen with fans this season. But it's the next 4 races that are going to be giving organisers a particular headache. The Turkish Grand Prix is a challenge because of its status on the red list for UK travel. This means that any UK-based teams would need to quarantine when they return from the race. We can expect the US round in Austin to take place, but the current climate in Brazil and Mexico means that both of those races are at risk of being cancelled. With all of that uncertainty, it's likely that we're going to need some other races to step in and fill those voids, and there's no shortage of rumours being thrown around about what they might be. A return to Indianapolis has been touted, but those rumours would need to be seen to be believed, as awesome as it would be, while the Nürburgring, Shanghai, Kuala Lumpur and the Losail circuit in Qatar, which is home of MotoGP's season opener, have been speculated as other possible replacements. Other rumours include a second race at the Bahrain circuit, potentially on the outer circuit that gave Sergio Perez his first win last year, or a second race in Austin which would be dubbed the Texas or Texan Grand Prix. Finally, we can be pretty certain that the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will take place for the first time. We don't know too much about this race other than that it's being billed as the fastest street track in the world. The calendar situation is changing all the time, so expect the unexpected, and hopefully we get some nice surprise races like we did last year with the Eiffel Grand Prix and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Number 4. Close constructors. Heading into the second half of the season, every team has something to play for, with both pride and prize money on the line, and this can be broken down into 4 distinct battles. There's a fight for 8th, a fight for 5th, a fight for 3rd, and the all-important fight for the Constructors' crown. Williams were one of the biggest benefactors of the chaos on the first lap in Hungary, with both of their drivers, Nicholas Latifi and George Russell, going on to score points in that race. This moved them ahead of Alfa Romeo and Haas, and I think it's going to be really tough for those teams to overcome Williams by the end of the season. They're going to need another chaotic race where they themselves can take advantage, and hope Williams don't if they want any chance of taking that 8th place away from the Grove-based team. The battle for 5th is going to come down to Alpine, AlphaTauri and Aston Martin. Alpine currently lead the way thanks to their shock win in Hungary. They also have the advantage that both Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon have consistently scored points throughout the season and are only separated by 1 point in the Drivers' Championship. The difference at AlphaTauri and Aston Martin is that they have one driver, Pierre Gasly and Sebastian Vettel, that have taken the lion's share of the points. And unless Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll can score more points in the second half of the season and really raise their game, I expect Alpine to take this one thanks to their superior drivers lineup and the momentum from that victory in Hungary. The fight for 3rd place is going to come down to historic rivals Ferrari and McLaren. They go into the second half of the season level on points thanks to Carlos Sainz's inherited podium last time out in Hungary. In my opinion, it's going to be Daniel Ricciardo's form that's going to be the defining factor in this battle. So far, McLaren have relied heavily on Lando Norris's form to score the majority of their points, while Sainz and Leclerc have looked evenly matched and consistently scored good points for their team. McLaren could take this one if Daniel Ricciardo is able to raise his game, but I'm going to go for Ferrari here as I think they have the stronger driver lineup who are more likely to score regular points for the remainder of the season. And last but not least, we've got the thrilling battle for the top prize between Mercedes and Red Bull. Mercedes have the advantage after Red Bull's calamitous few races in Silverstone and Hungary, but this one can be expected to run until the end of the season. There's no friendly rivalry here, so we can expect more digs off the track and plenty more scraps on it before the end of the season. I think the deciding factor here is going to come down to the 2 second drivers and how well Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez are to take points off of the lead driver for the opposite team. The only thing that's guaranteed with so much left to play for is that we're going to see this order change multiple times between now and the end of the season. All of the teams will want to sign off this rule set on a high before we start the new rules in 2022. Number 3, the unknown of 2022. Next year's rule change offers an intriguing backdrop to the end of this season, with all teams sure to switch focus of development to next year's car if they haven't already. There's also an engine freezing coming at the end of the season, and we know that Ferrari have a big upgrade to help them get back on terms with Mercedes and Honda. All of this adds an extra layer of interest to all of the fights throughout the Constructors' Championship, not least the main title fight. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen have no guarantee that their cars are going to be capable of fighting for the championship next season, which puts even more pressure on this year for them to get it right. As with any rule change, one team may find a Brawn GP-like advantage and find themselves vaulting up the order. We just don't know, and there's nothing to say that that team is definitely going to be a Mercedes or a Red Bull. So we can certainly expect there to be nervousness and excitement over how the order can be shaken up by the time pre-season testing rolls around in February. Number 2, silly season. The 2021 drivers market is one of the most fascinating that we've seen in recent years, and it won't be long until all the dominoes start falling into place. While the driver lineups at McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin and Alpine all look settled, we could see plenty of seat swapping elsewhere down the grid. The biggest story, of course, is going to be Bottas versus Russell and who's going to get in that second Mercedes seat. Will Bottas stay for another year, or will Russell get the promotion he's been waiting for? If Russell does get the nod at Mercedes, then it could be all change at Williams, with Nicholas Latifi not guaranteed to stay either. De Rilton recently revealed that they don't need a pay driver in the second seat, so it could go to any one of a few names that have been mentioned. Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg and the recently crowned Formula E champion Nick de Vries are all believed to be in the mix for that seat. Things are equally unclear at Alfa Romeo, where we're not sure if Kimi Raikkonen will plan to keep on racing beyond the end of the season. There's also doubt over Antonio Giovinazzi's role now that Ferrari no longer have a say in the second seat at that team. Callum Ilott, GP2 frontrunner Robert Schwartzman and Valtteri Bottas have all been linked with a seat at Alfa Romeo, as has Haas driver Mick Schumacher, but he's more likely to stay at Haas alongside Nikita Mazepin. Ultimately, this season's silly season doesn't feel that silly, and it feels like we may get some major changes up and down the grid. I'd expect at least a few of these rumours to actually take place as we move through the latter half of the season, and no one can pretend it's not an exciting prospect that we might get to see George Russell go up against Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery in 2022. Number 1, a close title fight. Easily the most exciting thing we have to look forward to in the second half of the season is the continuation of the Lewis Hamilton-Max Verstappen Drivers' Championship battle. We know that neither of these guys are going to back down, and they're going to fight tooth and nail until the end of the season for that championship. Over the last few races we've seen this clash get personal, and it's going to stay that way for the rest of the season. Reliability is going to play a big part. We know Verstappen is going to have to take a penalty following the collision between the pair at Silverstone. Their teammates are also going to play a big role, with how many points they can take off of the other one's rival going to be key in the remaining races. I believe that this season is going to go down as one of the greatest in Formula 1 history, and when the dust settles in Abu Dhabi, we're either going to be looking at Lewis Hamilton, record-breaking 8-time world champion, or Max Verstappen winning his first ever world championship. It's going to be an incredible end to the season, and I'd love if you could let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to most. And if you like this video, please give us a subscribe. We're a brand new channel, so any bit of support really does mean the world to us.